There we go. Welcome to the webinar and this live training. So before we get started, one thing that I want to make sure of is if you guys can comment that you hear us, that is a good thing. So Lasse, you can also say something, so maybe someone can hear you as well.
Yeah, I wanted to now try to mimic that I was speaking just for the sake of it, but I think that would create more confusion than good. But cool. I see that we're getting people coming in now. It's always weird with these things because when running a live stream on LinkedIn, there's no proper real good place for us to read comments and to sit and answer them. So I always sit with my phone like this because it's the easiest interface. But I see that the comments are ticking in here. We have people all the way from Wales and Seattle in the west and to the Philippines in the east. Then people are sitting here at all sorts of times during the day, which is cool.
Oh yeah, and it sounds like and it looks like based on the comments that you guys can hear us. So that is good. And I think with this, without further ado, let's get to it. So we have actually been looking forward to having another live training like this for probably like 2 or 3 months. But we've had to push it because the game of B2B marketing has completely changed. And I mean it by completely changing. So the things that we did, let's say, just 3 months ago, they're different. The things that we did last year are radically different. And the things that were done even just 3 years ago have completely been disrupted. So because AI has become so good, the way you can use AI has changed, and it's just basically revolutionizing the B2B marketplace. So I think with that, we really can get into this, and there's a lot of things that we will go into in this training together. And for some of you, it's early morning. For some of you, it's late evening. For some of you, it's midday. So hopefully, we're not going to stretch this too far if you're in the evening cohort. But there are 5 main things that we want to go into. And in a bit, you're going to get an introduction to myself or Lasse if you're new here. But the first thing that we're going to go into is the process of actually generating lead magnets in as low as 5 minutes up to 60 minutes. So 60 minutes, if you were to tell me years ago that you could create a lead magnet in 60 minutes, I would tell that you're crazy. But now we're going to show you the process. The second thing that we're going to go through is creating and writing viral LinkedIn posts. So how can you go viral on LinkedIn? This is something that everyone is talking about. You've probably seen them. You've probably seen us go viral. And after this live training, you probably have some of the secrets that we have, so that you too can experience the rush of actually seeing the count of followers, the count of views and comments and lead coming in, just ticking up in an exponential curve. The third thing that we're going to go into is how we use LinkedIn DMs to close clients, because LinkedIn has truly become the #1 platform if you're operating in a B2B market to be able to get clients. And the DMs is a phenomenal way to build trust, build relationships, and really understand your prospect before you even pitch. So we're going to go into how to do that. The fourth thing that we're going to go into is how to use AI for sales preparation. So it wasn't long ago that Lasse told me that he had completely revamped how he prepared for sales calls, and that it had a 30-40% increase in performance during those calls. So he's going to go into that as well. And the fifth thing is nurture your leads with email and Facebook on autopilot. One of the things that is super important for all businesses is obviously leads. But what do you do when you have those leads? You need to nurture them, convert them to be able to make something out of them. And that's the fifth and final thing that we're going to go through today. And as just before I leave the word to Lasse, this is going to be tangible. So it's going to be actually showing you the process, describing the process, and teaching you how to do it. So stick around because you have a lot of things to look forward to. So with that, Lasse, you can take the next.
Yes. So this will probably be a very different type of training or webinar or seminar, call it whatever you want, that you're used to seeing. Me and Harald, as much as we would want it, we're no Tony Robbins, we're no Russell Brunsons, and we'd rather just be upfront about what we're doing here. So the reason why you're all sitting here is because you've probably seen us on LinkedIn, like showing you some sort of process that is of interest to you. And what we will do here today is very plain and very simple. In the first session here, or the first section, we will just teach you all there is to know, or all there is to pile into more or less an hour of teaching, as of how to do exactly the things that Harald just mentioned for you. After that, we will show you how we're doing it ourselves, the AI tools and the platforms that we've built, just to give you a tease of what you could do if you don't want to do everything manually. But the teaching part is all of the theoretical stuff that you need to know. The showing is going to show you how you can do it specifically. And then I will do a world premiere here by saying that, yes, we are going to make an offer for you while you sit and listen to this. You've never been at one of these where there isn't an offer in the end, so I'd rather be upfront about telling you. This offer, however, in comparison to what the promises you're used to hearing on these, it's not an insanely special offer or anything like that, but it is an offer for today, which we will just like lay out our hands, like show you what you can give at the end of things. And then after that, we will answer all of your questions in relation to the learnings that we've gone through, to the platform that we've showed you, to the offer, etc. So with that, if you skip to the next slide, Harald.
Yes.
Then, by the way, you'll see that between me and Harald, we're not professionals when it comes to PowerPoints or Google Slides or anything like that. So this is more so a like homemade presentation. But stick around to the end because, and you can see what I'm doing here, that we'll do the Q&A and like ask us anything after we've presented the offer. Like, again, I'm not going to sit here and say that we don't have anything that we want to sell you. We want to help you. So we'll show you the theory. We'll show you how it works in practice. And then if you want our help with it, we'll show you how we can help. If you don't want it, completely fine. Then ask us anything at the end of this session, and then we will go through anything. So if you're fine with that and don't think that me and Harald are complete assholes, comment like a thumbs up right now. And then if no one does it now, then I'll acknowledge that we are complete assholes for setting it up this way. But without me going more into that, let's continue this.
Yes. So one of the things that people often ask when, okay, yeah, AI, how do I do that? How does this all work? We tried to make it, let's say, very easy to understand. So one of the things that we did is that we created this flowchart. So, or not really a flowchart, but a process. So the key thing that we've built and the process that we teach companies, we consult companies about, and what we see our clients really see effect and results from is that you need to have a system. If you don't have a system that has a defined process, it's going to be hard to achieve any result, no matter, let's say, using AI or not using AI. So the one thing and the key thing that we're going to go through is the very first thing that you need is you need to have leads. And the best way to get leads is by having a lead magnet. And a lead magnet is basically something of value to your audience, and it can have a variety of different formats. It could be a guide, it could be a webinar like this one, it could be a tool, it could be a tutorial, it could be anything of value and of substance for your target audience. The thing that you do with that lead magnet is that you post that on LinkedIn. So that is one of these posts that you typically see, something sharing about something, and then you have a comment, then you get it on DM. Then we use something called LeadShark to connect that. So we connect LeadShark to your LinkedIn profile to take all of those who comment to get that lead magnet, and we send the resource to them on DM. Once you have them on DM, you're in dialogue, and through dialogue, you land meetings and get clients. The thing, though, is that LeadShark is a key component to this all because it allows us to extract all of those leads to your CRM system, where we can have email follow-ups, retargeting emails and ads, and we use what we call an auto-scoring and auto-segmentation system that allows us to see what have you as a lead done. Okay, what emails did you read? What ads did you click? What lead magnets did you listen to, read, watch, download? And what have you done? And that gives you a score which brings you into certain segments based on where you are in the buying process. And the beauty of all of this is that all of these things, we built a system to automate. And we're going to go into, and we're going to show that during this webinar. But first of all, who are we? So my name is Harald. We run the company. I run the company together with Lasse called Bureau Ventures. And my journey actually started when I was 11. So at 11, I was a typical hardcore gamer, but until the day that my dad gave me an ultimatum saying you have to do something productive on your computer, unless we're going to confiscate it. That led to me learning how to do and build websites, and I created something that I could show for, and then I was able to continue playing video games. Fast forward, when I was 16, that's when I started my first company, and I've spent the last 14, now close to 15 years in digital business, how to run marketing, how to grow B2B companies, and how to use the digital space for growth. Personally, I love learning. I'm like a sponge. Like in the last 3 weeks, I learned how to code using AI. So it's completely like a try to learn as much as you can type of approach. Testing new things, love that, and asking what's possible, because it's our mind that puts the limits on what we believe is possible, but everything is possible. You just need to figure out the way. And that's the same thing in terms of, I don't believe it's going to be possible for me to get 10,000 leads in a month for my company. It is. You just need to find a way, and hopefully something that we're going to share today is going to help you towards that. And internally in the company, I'm the self-proclaimed AI nerd. So that's a bit about me. What we do is that we help companies with growth, typically B2B companies, and we consult, we help, we guide, and we share resources and findings from our own, let's say, experiences.
Yes, so I'm a bit of a different nerd than Harald. I would also say I am an AI nerd, but I was, like, during my childhood, more of a math nerd. Like, I love numbers, I love learning, I love like systems more so. We're similar in that sense. But then, like, my childhood is primarily like I tried to become an athlete. I tried playing football at a higher level. I was never really any good, but I still thought I could be something. I wasn't, but I worked really hard. When I figured out that I couldn't work hard on it, I found something else to work hard on, which was business and growth. In 2020, I was supposed to go through the just typical route of studying some economics degree. I met Harald, and Harald basically told me that university is for losers. He might say something else, and maybe he did say something else. But anyways, that was how I perceived it from Harald. And thereby, I've been working with Harald on all sorts of systems and new things that we've been testing out. Been doing this every day for the past 5 years, and I don't see myself doing anything else for the next 5 years. And like today, I run the operations of Bureau, and I play with all sorts of systems, and I like to look at them not from the technical standpoint that Harald does, but more so from the psychological standpoint and how we can use it to make people feel specific things, to do specific things. And essentially then you could say Harald creates a lot of the value. I look at how we can package it so that it actually becomes so that people feel that it is valuable. I think that's a good description of it.
Yeah, it actually is a quite good one.
So without me and Harald talking more about ourselves, let's get into the actual juice of things. So we'll start off with how to make a lead magnet in 60 minutes. This is a topic that I absolutely love because I keep posting about it on LinkedIn. Every time that I put it out there, you guys are just all over it, whether it is 60 minutes or if it is 5 minutes or if it is 10 minutes. We have many ways of doing it. So let's jump into it. So when you're going to create a lead magnet, as Harald said, like years ago, you thought of that as a long process. And I remember like 5 months ago when people talked about lead magnets on LinkedIn, said like, oh, I've been spending 100 hours on creating this thing, or I've been spending 10,000 hours on doing like a certain subject to create this directory or whatever. And I just thought, can't I do it in a few hours and then flip this on its head? And then I did. So essentially, the core concept that you need to think of when it comes to creating your first lead magnet is that it's already in your head. I talked just yesterday, I think, with the guy who said that, oh no, my process is a little bit like complex and it's hard to quantify and stuff. And I asked him, if you were to prompt ChatGPT to do the same job as you, how would you do it? And then he tried to kind of make a process. And I told, yeah, there you have it. It's a process. If you have it in your mind, what you're delivering it, you just have an issue of quantifying it into a process. And that's how we use AI. So move to the next step, Harald. So the process is very simple. We first need to get a recording of you going through things. Because as I said, you can be like that guy who sits and thinks that it's very difficult to actually get things out there on paper and like show what you're doing. So what I've typically done in those cases with clients is that I've found several client calls that they have, and then we've taken these videos and transcribed them, and we've used those transcripts and sent them to ChatGPT to just effectively, like, I don't have any big prompts for this because it's a very easy prompt. Just ask, can you help me put my thoughts together about the process that I am helping with here? And then you have that. Then you form that into an idea. It's really not that much more difficult. If you don't have any of these recordings, like some say, then just imagine yourself. If you're sitting and you're watching this and you're actually servicing businesses with something, then you might have thought of the scenario when someone pays you, what are you going to do for them? Just start talking with ChatGPT about what you do for businesses, and then use that as your transcript, and then ask ChatGPT to just help you by systemizing and concretizing what you're actually delivering. That's all you need in terms of your process. It's not this big scary monster like where there's so many different moving variables or whatever. Yes, there typically are, but you can still quantify it and then have these directions like as part of like some conditions in your process, rather than thinking that it's impossible to quantify. We'll move on to the next step, Harald. So now you have this process lined out. You have an idea of how it looks like. Then you want to start prompting your lead magnet to life. So this is, again, as Harald mentioned, we wrote that you can do this in 5 minutes. You can do it in 60. I'm talking about how to do it in 60 minutes now manually with prompts. Harald will show you later in a demo how we do it in 5 minutes. So when prompting this manually, we want to create an outline for this lead magnet, for this process that we've just been able to extract. Then you use the prompt that I have copied here on the side. You will get this. Harald, can you put it in the chat in the meantime? The actual slides presentation. Or actually, no, wait with that, because we don't want to spoil what's on the next slides yet. So then I can promise you that you will get this slides link in the chat after we're done with this, so that you can go out and actually use this prompt yourself. Like, we don't gatekeep it or anything, just use it. That's a part of the tangible value we want to give her today. But you see these this prompt, you put that out, and then you paste your the transcript of the description of your process in the bottom, and then you will get an output of 20 questions to answer. So you want to then start by answering these questions. Like, again, this is kind of harder to see now if you're not following what I'm saying, but the prompt that you have here will give you 20 questions. You need to answer those 20 questions. That's the next step. So if you skip to the next slide, Harald, then you have another prompt that you need to use. So in this prompt here, you now have from AI, it's created an outline for the lead magnet for you, and it's given you 20 questions to answer. So in this next prompt, the prompt will describe it, so it will be easier for you to see when you actually sit down after this and use it. But then you will take section by section and paste it where it says paste the section here in the prompt, and then paste all of the answers to these 20 questions in your bottom. Then it starts doing each section in greater detail, and then you do each of these sections one by one, and you complete all of them. And then skip to the next slide, Harald. Then you will have an output with the actual text for the lead magnet. And this lead magnet, based on the 20 questions that you've answered, which will be the core methodology that it is based on, will sound like you. It will be based on your processes, your approaches to things. And now you just want to design it to look nice, because no one cares if you just have a long Microsoft Word document or a Google Docs that is difficult to read. So you want to take each of these sections. You start by just pasting it in Google Docs. And when you're done with the whole thing, just you've done section by section, you paste everything into a Notion. So a Notion board, you can look at the things that me and Harald have sent you in DMs just for reference into how it should look like. And then you start designing images for the page that you've created in Notion. So you want to add in some images so that it isn't just text blocks, which are difficult to read. You want to optimize for consumption when people are reading the lead magnets. Because, as you can see in the bottom here, you want to add a pitch to your own services in the bottom. So your goal is to get the lead to actually read through the whole thing. So when you then tweak it so that it becomes more readable, then you reach the goal that you're doing. And when it comes to adding illustrations and images, you can use the prompt that I've added on the right side here to create an image description of some image that you want to add. Like, it's just a way better way of actually creating images with ChatGPT. And then when you're done with, when it gives you an output, you just move that over to 4.0 to create an image. Again, the prompt will make way more sense when you actually use it. It's really difficult to describe a prompt which is several hundred words just like in a few seconds. And then if you're having any problems with figuring out what types of images, just ask ChatGPT to help you with what sorts of images too. I see someone is writing, hope that this will be available afterwards, including PowerPoint and prompts. Yes, it will. We will share it with you in the chat here on LinkedIn. And if you for some reason can't find it in the chat, just DM me or Harald afterwards, and we'll send it to you personally. That's it for this slide, Harald.
Yeah. So as you see, the process is actually very straightforward. And now the question is, how do you make this lead magnet be promoted to really go viral? So there's several, let's say, elements to going viral. And one thing it's not is luck. Because every piece to this, there's a, not necessarily, let's say, proper science, but there is a science to it. There are things that, and levers and buttons we can click and push and pull that will aid us in making sure that this actually works. And one of the aspects there is, if you look at any algorithm, and if we were to talk about LinkedIn specifically, the algorithm on a social media site like LinkedIn is built to keep your attention. This is the same with Instagram, with Facebook, with TikTok, and YouTube. It's built to keep you around. And the reason is because the more you stick around, the more ads you can see. And the more revenue the platform makes on showing you ads, because your time and your attention is the currency on the platform. So what can we then do to play to the algorithm in a way that it helps us spread the thing that we have further? And that is basically, if our post makes more people stick and stay on LinkedIn, then it's more likely to be pushed. So there are several things to this. And the very first thing is that a post has different sections. So the very first section of a post is what we call the hook. And the hook is basically where you catch the attention of someone. And it needs to do and achieve three things. It needs to be tangible, easy words, and outcome driven. So basically, it needs to be really enticing, not using complex words or having a long sentence. It needs to be snappy, to the point, and tangible. And I have tossed in a couple of examples here of the first two lines of 3 posts that went more than 300 to 400,000 impressions each. And the quote unquote that what I've heard is, a viral post is a post getting 100,000 views or more. So there are 3 things to this. So the very first one, 1 million post views and 4,428 leads. How did you guys blow up so fast? It builds a curiosity, and it's tangible, and it's outcome driven. Like, okay, how can I do the same thing? The second one, companies pay me anywhere between $30,000 and $100,000 a year for this protocol. Having spoken to hundreds of B2B companies, they all have the same problem. So it builds the let's say the authority and credibility talking about something tangible that a lot of people would resonate and would like to have, and then it builds in some sort of intrigue and curiosity to what is the problem that all companies have. So I'm hinting to that there's a problem and a solution, and the solution is what I'm going to pay for. The third one is get your company's first AI agent for free. That will help you generate leads, book meetings, and create your strategy. So this, again, it's very, very tangible. It's a AI agent, and it's outcome driven in terms of what you're going to be able to get out of it. So people need to immediately, in a split second, be able to understand what is this about, what am I going to get out of it? Because if it's not easily and instantly, let's say, understandable, then you're probably using too complex words, or you have too long of a sentence. So the essence is you have something in marketing called the grunt test, or the, let's say, the Stone Age man test. And it's basically if someone from the Stone Age would see your first lines for 3 seconds, what would they be able to grunt back to? Viral, a lot of leads. How can I do the same? So how can you make it so that it's interesting and people are like, I need to read on? There are a lot of generic ones, but how can you play to that intrigue, curiosity, while being tangible? The next part of the lead magnet post, so the post you post on LinkedIn to promote the lead magnets that Lasse showed you the process on creating, which you will get the prompts for, is the body. And the body has, let's say, different pieces to it as well. And there's, you could say there's different ways of doing them. But the essence is that you can do a step-by-step process. So you have the hook, then you introduce some sort of step-by-step process, which is the solution or something unique, or it, let's say, provides someone with a tangible, let's say, instruction for how to do something. And you can see 2 of those versions down at the bottom. So these prompts create custom sales scripts for each call. And it's like 1, 2, 3. The next one is like, again, 1, 2, 3. So you bring people through like, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, element 1, element 2, element 3, element 4. Let's say component 1, component 2, component 3. Something which are, let's say, the puzzle pieces to what you have, but they need to keep on reading to be able to, let's say, put the final piece together. Again, you want to make it tangible, because this is where people perceive the value. So the hook catches their attention, the body provides the value, so it backs it up. You need to either have, let's say, a mini version of the guide, which is the step-by-steps, or you could have something very tangible what it is about. So the top right one is an example of that. I built a system that flips it 1, 2, 3. No spam, no cold pitches. So it's very, very tangible, very to the point. And then the systems I put into a guide is these things. So it's very, very tangible, very to the point. People can understand what it is, and they see the value in it. So the second part is the body. The purpose of the body is provide the value and get people to understand that it's actually substance and something actually interesting. So you don't want to have a headline as a newspaper. You want to actually have something that involves a story and a thing as well. The very final thing of every viral, I'll say, LinkedIn post, and probably one of the more important ones, is the call to action, or the CTA. So a call to action is basically where you entice people, or you tell someone to do a certain activity or thing. And in this one, we have guides, prompts, slides, something that you want. That's the thing that we're promoting, because it's the lead magnet, right? And if you want comment X, that is the, let's say, the holy grail to it. Because again, if you go back to the truth of algorithms and platforms, is that they want to keep attention. And one of the things that, let's say, confirm that you have attention and people are sticking around is our engagement. So if they like, if they comment, and if they repost. So the comment in itself does a couple of things. So one, it plays with the algorithm in terms of keeping people on the platform because they engage. The second thing is that they actually do something. So they need to perform a certain activity and task to be able to get something. So, and that gives us the option to make them into leads, but also for them to have already invested a tiny bit of, let's say, time and effort. And a very final thing that you can do as well in these lead magnets at the end is add in a repost incentive. And the repost incentive is basically repost for added bonus. One thing that we've seen tremendous results with, and have resulted in hundreds upon hundreds of bookings, is repost, and we're going to set aside 30 minutes for a one-to-one call, as you can see in the example on the bottom. So again, the essence of the post is that it has these three sections. It has the hook to catch the attention, it has the body to provide the value, making it actually tangible and something that has substance, and then we have the call to action, which is, this is how you can get more. This is how you can get the thing, and you need to do certain things, because that plays with the algorithm, and that's how the algorithm boosts your post to really reach those viral, let's say, levels. And the next thing that is also important is the imagery. So you can have an image, you can have a video, or you can make a video into a GIF, like an image that has slides or animates. And the easy bet is have an image or video of the resource. So if you have a Notion guide, you can take a screenshot of the top section of the Notion document, or you can have a video or a GIF of you scrolling through. If you have a flow chart, it could be a static image of the flow chart, and you could also have a video or a GIF going through it. You could also have pictures with headlines. So for example, you see this one in terms of ChatGPT images made me go viral, and it's a screenshot of the impressions graph on your LinkedIn profile. The one thing that you don't want to use is private pictures, logos, memes, and illustrations. The reason for these is that these are the typical things that people always post on LinkedIn. It's private photos, so it's like, hey, I just did this. It's logos about their company, so it's immediately categorized in our mind as this is promotion. And memes is kind of like just all over the place. But the illustrations as well, it's kind of like, okay, this is something, it's an asset created by a company to do some sort of promotional things. And our brain has become so good at catching if something is an advertisement that they're like, nope, just opting out. So make it something that is raw. And that's why personally, I'm a big fan of just taking a screenshot of the asset in itself, because it's authentic. And especially if we look at the age of, let's say, AI, what is AI not going to be able to, let's say, recreate the easiest? And that's a messy photo that you've taken of one of the things that you have. So these are a couple of things when it comes to images. So the do's are a couple of other things. So you want to have a lot of line breaks, because you want to make the post as easy to read as possible. You want to make it very easily skimmable. Use easy words. Speak to your kid, not your boss. So have the language that anyone would understand, not full of rhetoric and, let's say, words that you use in, let's say, deep science. That's a bad way to put it, but again, use simple words. If you're using AI, prompt it to write like you. How do I do that? Let's add an example, and that is take your transcript, which basically is where you're talking, because that's the way that you communicate. Have it imitate the way you speak, or the way you write if you've written an answer to those 20 questions that Lasse talked about. And one thing that you want to do, which is the most important thing as well as a follow-up to ensure that it really you hit the nail on its head, is you should reply to everyone that comments. So when someone comments a certain keyword, follow them up with a comment to say that you're sending it on DM. And there's software that can do this for you. There are don'ts do as well. Don't overdo cheesy emojis. Don't use very long sentences. And never have links in your post. That's the cardinal sin of going viral on LinkedIn. However, there are this rumor going around that if you post a post without a link, you can safely post that link into the post after 4 hours. If it's truth or not, maybe not. But we've seen it don't having a detrimental effect after 4 hours, or maybe even just after 6, maybe 8. You can do it on your own risk. But that's the essence. Don't post it initially, because that again tells the algorithm that you want to bring people out of LinkedIn, and the algorithm doesn't like that. So that was it for the going viral part, and then Lasse is going to be going into the landing deals and deal.
Also, congratulations. Now you have your resource. Now you have your viral post. What do we do now? To not sound that much like ChatGPT, let's get into actually like how to use this. So if you've made this lead magnet resource and you've got a post which is going viral, which happens every day, like I told Harald just before we got onto this, that we have another guy of our clients who came in a few weeks ago, was a little bit like worried about, will I go viral, will I not, because he had a very little like network on LinkedIn, and boom, first post out there. So now his objective, and thereby your theoretical objective too, is how do you actually get clients, how do you land deals when you have a system like this that is rolling. So skip to the next slide, Harold. First of all, you don't pitch. This sounds really weird for me to say because I just said, how do you close deals? How do you land clients? And one of the like whole keys to it is that you just don't pitch. Like you want to build trust. You want to build some sort of connection between you and the lead, and you want to make them come to you. And one of the key elements here before I jump into how to exactly do this is that the lead magnet that you have created, and if you've done our process, you've used AI for it, you need to just like think of it like your own baby. It needs to be good. It needs to be extensive. It needs to like to just cover your methodologies, because the second that you cut corners with the lead magnet, that's the second where people don't care anyways, because there's this tiny, tiny, tiny percentage who will get your lead magnet, and if it is quite bad, like there's a tiny percentage that will say, oh, you made a lead magnet about how to optimize processes with AI. Do you have anything that can help me? Without seeing the lead magnet and thinking that it's good, it will practically never happen. So the lead magnet itself needs to be amazing. That's a prerequisite here. And now we'll get into how that you sell these deals without pitching. So first of all, there's a technical setup, because if you've seen the post that I used to promote this event, for example, it had around 800 comments, I believe. And with 800 comments, there's more or less like 400 unique people that have commented. I am sorry to blow it for you guys, but I didn't sit down and answer to all of you personally. I have a business to run. I don't have time to do so. And I don't have any virtual assistant who sit and responds to messages from my LinkedIn account either, because LinkedIn thinks that that is sketchy business if there is an IP in the Philippines or in India that is logged onto my LinkedIn. So we use software. And when it comes to what type of software to use, then we use leadshark.io. It's run by what's become a good friend of ours. Amazing guy, amazing developer, and helps us with everything with the software. The thing that it essentially does is that it can auto DM every person that comments on your posts. So when you've seen my comments like, hey, Abdel, I'll send it now in a second, I don't write it. I just have a bunch of like 10 variations for replies that I do to every type of comment that I get. And then LeadShark automatically sends that comment out as a reply. And then it also sends a specific message to the person that I have like just predefined. So all of the messages you get from me, I'm spilling the beans here now, Harold, so that maybe no one will ever answer to us on DMs on LinkedIn ever again. But it's not us who writes them. We just try to write them in a way where it seems like it seems human, it seems engaging, it seems like a way to actually like get a dialogue going. But our main point is just sending the resource. The resource needs to be good, and then we start actually dealing with the conversations. But for the technical setup, so that I don't lose my track here, test out LeadShark if you're sitting in the situation where you've done our process up until this and you have comments coming in on your posts. Get LeadShark. You get a 25% discount code for the first 3 months with the code Harald. Then you have that whole deliverability sorted out. But enough of the technicals. Let's get into how you actually land these clients. So I want to say this, and like my girlfriend would say, like this is a girly slide, that you don't want to like start selling them hard or anything like that. You want to make them like just love you, and the way that you make them love you is that you don't come with an absolute pitch to start off with. We start by sending them the resource. So here you can see just an example, like here's X, so here's the resource on how to use AI for B2B lead generation. Are you doing any marketing on LinkedIn nowadays? It's probably something that I've written to like 70% of you guys, if you look at the DMs. And then I might write something like, I have more things to help you if you do, smiley face. Nothing pitchy, nothing like that. I could even write I have more free things for you or whatever, just so that it's even easier to get responses out of it. And then when you get some sort of response, then you don't pitch, you just keep sending them more resources. So if the person there, let's say that Sahar answered me that, yes, I'm doing it. I've been testing these viral things and it hasn't really worked. I might say, okay, Harald made, or I made some sort of checklist there for what you need to go viral on LinkedIn. And then I just send it to her. I don't ask her if she wants it or anything like that. I send it to her and I ask, oh, this thing here will probably help you. Who are you trying to reach? It's my next question then. Because if you've done sales for a long time, you understand what I'm doing. And again, I'm like ruining the facade for like all of the 50 people or so that are in here right now. That yes, indeed, like I am genuinely interested in you, I promise. But this is what I'm actually doing, which is that I'm sending you something so that you start loving me. And then at the same time, I'm figuring more and more stuff out about you that I can save to my database, about like who you are, what you need, what you're doing, so that I can just learn more and more about what would help you. And then I keep sending you more and more stuff. So if Zaha then answered that I'm targeting whatever SMBs in Europe, then I might go, okay, yeah, I have a guide here on how you can do outbound to these types of SMBs, and then I'm sending that. And then, oh, how has it been going this far? Just keep adding new things to every message, because at some point, if you have like 15 different resources that you've created with this process, each specifically for your audience in the different scenarios, you can just imagine there's probably, or I would at least say hopefully, someone that sits here and thinks that way of me, that is just like, oh shoot, yeah, Lasse has shared like 12 different things with me, or even 5 different things with me. I've told him about stuff and he just keeps on sending me stuff and helping me. I kind of like Lasse. He's not like that much of a douchebag. And if you've started to feel that way, then like I have you there like now. Because if I keep doing that for like 6 months, for 12 months, when you see that you absolutely need help, you're probably going to either send a message to me like, hey Lasse, what do you do for like paid stuff? Like, can you help me even closer? Can you help me even more? Or you might go to my LinkedIn and see that the link in like in my links on LinkedIn is how I can help you. PS, check it now if you haven't. And like that's how we want to structure it. The only way that you would actually send them a pitch or start asking them for a pitch is if they either ask, what are you going to do? Or that they express how amazing you are in some form or another. So if they say, oh my God, I can't believe that you keep sharing all of these things, or oh my God, I love you so much, Lasse, or oh my God, Harald, you look so much like a Giga Chad and you're so good at B2B marketing. What do you do? Like, that's the point where you can say, okay, I can start, like, where you can start sharing stuff with them. And that's the whole funnel. It sounds contradicting. It doesn't sound like what you're being taught by all of these like direct response type of strategies. But this is by far the best way to go about B2B sales processes, because it's more so about relationships rather than just, okay, this thing solves it right now, because you need the trust there. You can skip to the next slide, Harald. Like I've talked enough about love now. So let's get into the deep, hard stuff like booking forms and data and prompting and AI. Enough about this love shit. So when you figure it out, or they have said that, oh, can you do something for me? Or they've said, oh my God, you're so amazing. And you actually start sharing what you can do. When you book them in, use a booking calendar. And I'll get to it in a second why. But you want to have a booking calendar with questions. In these, you need to include LinkedIn URLs and what you're seeking to get. Like these two are essentials. Other things will just help the next process, but you need these two parts here. And we'll get to why just now. So then skip Harald. Because now we'll get into how to let AI do all of your sales preparation. So jump to the next slide. We've essentially become turtles. So the thing is that the way that I've typically done sales before is that we have some standardized sales scripts that we try to follow. Like we know approximately how our clientele or how our ideal customer profile looks like, so how people behave. We know what type of thing we would sell, etc. And then we sit, if we want to do things properly, we actually sit down and we research things a little bit in before the call starts. But between me and you, I oftentimes forget it and I sit 2 minutes before a call. I had some back-to-back things, or I had lunch that lasted a little bit too long. And then I sit there and I'm like, who is this John Doe guy? Like, what does he do? And then I like grab up another tab on my Google, like just to check out their website and figure out like who they are more in specific. And then I just try to wing it from there based on a standard sales script. However, AI, as we've started with, has become just exponentially much better than what it was a few years ago now. Like previously, I've tried to do this as well, to have AI help a little bit with my sales goals, but it's just been like generic, basic stuff. It hasn't really helped us. But then, as some of you might have seen me post about on LinkedIn, I am absolutely in love, and I'm starting to talk about love again, but I am in love with this, with the GPT-04 Mini specifically. I'm that much of a nerd that I named them specifically by the model as well. And I'll show you why I love GPT-04 Mini so much right now. So skip to the next slide, Harald. I haven't even, like, the prompts that I'm using here is too long to show them for you, but I have a link that you'll get in the slideshow when we're done. But essentially, what GPT-04 Mini helps us do, just to give you the tech, some of you might even think, what even is 04 Mini? 04 Mini is ChatGPT, but it's not the normal ChatGPT that you would open. It is a special model. And 04, the thing that it does, 04 Mini, is that it is a thinking model. So when you send it, figure out this or that, it starts thinking about what you asked it to. It starts prompting itself to get to the output. And the amazing thing with 04 Mini, which hasn't been there before, is that in this thinking process, it can start searching the web. Now you might think, oh, it's been able to search the web for like a year and a half. Yes, but it's only been able to search the web once when you prompt it. So then you needed to prompt it very specifically, search for this and give me the outputs. Now with 04 Mini, we can give it certain things and ask it to think through XYZ process and then figure out like what you need to learn on top of this to explain something for me. Search for it online, figure it out, search for it online. You can ask it to do a manual or no, not a manual, an automatic workflow where it starts searching, thinking, searching, thinking, searching, thinking. So tying this back to why I'm talking about it right now in regards to B2B sales is that, say the same situation, John Doe has booked a meeting with me that is starting in 2 minutes. This happened actually last week. That's why I created this prompt. So it's a very real situation. And I started selling like crazy last week as well. So this has a big correlation. So imagine it was 2 minutes until the meeting. You don't really remember who this is. Then with GPT-04 Mini, a prompt that I've created here that I'll show you afterwards. I think it's too much of a stressing thing if you go out and in now, Harald. So let's just keep it like that. Is a prompt where you essentially just copy all of the booking details that you got on email from the booking, because you used the booking form that I showed you earlier. You send that together with a prompt that I have here, and then 04 Mini creates, 04 Mini essentially looks at the email. It starts searching up this person. It starts searching up their LinkedIn. It starts reading through their LinkedIn. It starts reading through their websites for the domain that they're working for. And it starts creating a report on who is this company, what does it do in simple terms, because oftentimes when I prep for a call, I see their company page and it's just like some really, really deep technical language that like no one other than typically their target audience would maybe understand. So this makes it easy to understand for you given your situation, and it starts outlining who this person is, what have they been posting about, how are they speaking, how are they likely to behave, what are some of the angles that you should talk with them about given the solution that you have. So you can also input the solution that you're trying to sell to them in this prompt, and then you essentially get all of the research, all of the angles that you should use when selling to this person. And on top of that, my most favorite part of this is that when you do the call, you can have your Zoom on one side of the screen. If you use a single laptop like I do right now, since I'm traveling, if you have two screens, then you naturally just use two screens. But you have your Zoom open, and then you have this ChatGPT open where you've already made it do all of this research, where you during the call can sit and type to ChatGPT about things that they're saying, because ChatGPT has already done all of the research across the web about this person, about this company, knows your offer, knows the angles that you should play at, and can help you with anything that comes up during the call. And this is like, maybe this is technical for you to hear right now, but this is mind blowing. This changes the game literally when you sit and sell B2B services. It makes things so much better, because no matter if we did our own research, we're not able to retain that research as well as GPT-04 Mini is. So when you do this, you just have another superpower, and you probably increase your closing rates by at least 25%, and your effective, how people perceive you as a salesperson goes up insanely much higher. So let's move on to the next use case, Harald. So we've now talked about the research part in front of a call, and I'm almost getting out of breath. So I'm glad that I didn't have to read through the actual prompts. But there's another prompt here that you'll be able to use, because now you have had ChatGPT do the research. What you can also do then is that you can have ChatGPT create a custom sales script for this person that you're speaking to. So the prompt that I have linked here, you just add that prompt in the same chat. And then if you already have a standardized sales script that you use for your services, you add that in the bottom, and then ChatGPT will use the data that it already has to create a new version of your sales script that is catered for this person specifically, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, again, this is hard to understand before you've actually tested it, but I highly recommend you, when we're done with this, to go into these prompts and then to test them out with your next booking or with a booking that you had in your past, to just see the power of this and imagine how this will feel like when you use it live during a call. It is life changing. The business isn't everything in life, but it is B2B marketing life changing, to say the least. So let's move on, Harald.
Yeah. So as you can hear, Lasse is quite enthusiastic when it comes to using AI to empower sales, and with due reason. And that's the big thing. Like, it actually works, and it's quite significant how easier it is to structure your calls, to know what to attack, and these kinds of things. But now you have the process for how to sell through the DMs. So make people love you, and use AI to support you in knowing what to dig into during the calls. And now the question is, a lot of those leads that you get from your now viral lead magnets will not book a call. And I'm sorry to break it to you, but let's say a very low percentage will actually do. So what do you do with the rest? So this is where lead nurturing, so engaging the leads, warming them up, building the relationship, not just on DMs, comes into play. And especially doing this on autopilot. So the one key when it comes to this is integration. That's the magic key that you want to have. You need to integrate, because you saw how the flowchart was in the beginning. Like you had create a lead magnet, post about it, use lead chart, which Lasse talked about, to connect to your CRM, to add into email, retargeting, and ads. And that is integration. So you need to make sure that all of the systems talk together. And the reason why this is important is because, as I mentioned, the minority of your leads are ready to buy today. So you have the same 2, 3, maybe 5% are ready to buy now, meaning they're in a buying window. But that doesn't mean that they necessarily want your services. They're just shopping for services and solutions to their problems. And the issue here is that if someone, let's say, are in like, okay, now we need something, they're in shopping mode. And what you do when you're in shopping mode is, I want the best thing for the least amount of bucks. So I want the best, the cheapest. And then if you gouge something based on price, then you're very, very price sensitive. And that is why we need to nurture the leads. Because what do we do with the 97% that are not ready to buy? We nurture them, we educate them, we train them, we provide them value, we make them love us, like Lasse talked about, so that they truly believe in what we can provide, which again lessens the price sensitivity potentially of your target audience and group, so that when they get into the buying window, they trust your process, they trust you, they see the credibility, you are an authority, and they want you. They're not just necessarily shopping for any solution that can help them, they're trying to get the best price, because they already trust the process, so they already have made up in their mind when they get to the buying process. So that's why lead nurturing is so important. And the thing here is that you have a lot of different systems. So we have LinkedIn posting, we have emails, we have ads, we have your CRM system, and all of these needs to talk together. But the essence is that we're using automation to go from one to many to reach those that are not ready yet. Because we need to stay top of mind until intent, interest, and the people enter that buying window. So there's a lot of things to think about, but the essence is most people are not ready to buy, meaning your value from the leads you generate now from your viral lead magnets will come likely in 6 to 12 months. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get people now, because Lasse shared the secrets in terms of how to close in the DMs, but most will get in the long term, because that's when more people will enter into the I'm ready stage. And when it comes to this, there are several pieces to it. One of the things that we've coined and created that we really haven't seen anyone talk about in the B2B space is the email system that we have. So one thing that we always try to look at is how can you create more value to be able to show people solutions to further enhance your credibility, build a relationship, and make people trust you. And the essence and the secret to doing that is actually sharing solutions. Show people how you'll help them, not just tell them. Give them a way to understand the process and the mechanism, because if you look at the psychological level, people don't buy for a couple of reasons. One, it's not the best time, so they don't necessarily have the need for it now. The second is that they don't have the finances, so they're constrained in some way. Another one is that they don't trust you, or they don't trust what you do. And if people don't trust you, sorry, Mac, nothing is going to go forward. And if they don't trust the process, but they trust you, they're skeptical. So how can you make people trust you, but also what you do? And then you need to really tell them and show them and display for them and demo them what it actually is. So this is where we, in our email system for nurturing, and not just necessarily emails, but also ads, have two stages. We have what we call the bootcamp stage, and we have the evergreen stage. So the bootcamp stage is the initial, let's say, lead handling process when a lead get in. And this is basically us showing and providing practical step-by-step guides during a 1 to 2 week period. They are more call to action driven, so getting them to take action. But the key essence is, what content do I have? So what are those practical step-by-steps? And your target audience typically have 3 to 5 main and, let's say, number one problems. So the biggest challenges, the biggest problems, the biggest obstacles your target audience has. The bootcamp is addressing each of those. So let's say that you have 5 problems, and you create 5 emails, 1 for each of them. You make them into practical step-by-step, a guide, lead magnet, which again, we know how to create. And we provide that on email with a direct call to action, like a click here to read it, want to call implementing this. So you really go hard on providing value. The purpose of that bootcamp is a couple of things. So one, it is to really rapid fire provide value to every lead and all leads. By doing that, we can segment so that we can see, okay, what did you engage on? And then we're able to, let's say, really follow up on what you actually showed intent and interest in, which will make your entire experience and also our, let's say, operations, it's a sales organization, much, much easier. After bootcamp, which lasts 1 to 2 weeks, we have what we call the evergreen. And the evergreen never stops. So that's the infinite black hole with such a, let's say, powerful gravitational force that, sorry, Mac, you're not going to be able to get out of it. You go through it. So this is basically more guides, more demo videos, more case studies, personal stories to stay top of mind and be the solution to the problem that they have. And the essence here is that we have 3 different lanes. We have the cold lane, we have the warm lane, and we have the hot lane, meaning you get more exposed to what we have at a high frequency if you engage, but if you disengage or are not that interested in what we have, you don't see us as much. So it's a dynamic system. And that brings us to the lead scoring. So every single activity you do is a signal that shows an intent. And a lot of people talk about signal software. So this is something that I've been talking about for the past 5 months with the private community that we have, where people have talked about, I need signals. I need to figure out who's done X, Y, and Z. You have signal softwares like 6 Sense and others that tell you that someone has raised funds, they're hiring now, they're looking for this. But what that is, it's not intent. It is just segmentation. And this might sound like it's a very contrarian view to it, but if someone are hiring, if someone have raised funds, they've done something, they've not necessarily shown intent or interest in the thing that you actually have. So it's a way to segment your audience based on categorization of and splitting up of the audience. What we want to do is that we want to have intent. And intent is driven through actions and activities someone actually do. And when it comes to our marketing, we don't want to spend $100,000 a year on 6 Sense to segment the companies that are using a certain technology or that have raised funds. Or even let's say visited our website. We actually want someone that has clicked on something, they've done something, they've taken activity, or opened an email, clicked an email, watched the demo, downloaded, booked a call, these things. And what we do with these sets of activities is that we give people points and a score. So one email open is a point, a click is a point, a reply is a point, booking is a point, page view over a certain amount of time is a point. If you don't open an email, you lose a point. If you bounce on an email, you lose even further points. So you have activities that automatically score your leads, because then you can see who's interested and who's not, who's in the buying window and who's not. And that allows you to ping them one-to-one based on what they actually did with you as a company, not necessarily just what they've done in general. And that's where the email system comes in. And the thing here as well is that all of these things that are being done on email are, let's say, reflected and duplicated and run in parallel as retargeting ads in Meta. So Facebook retargeting, you call it, it's actually Meta retargeting because it's on Facebook and Instagram and Meta's audience network, meaning several other platforms that they have agreement with. And the essence here is that we're not trying to target your audience on LinkedIn, because good luck doing B2B targeting on LinkedIn. You're probably going to shoot with a shotgun, and not just a good shotgun, a horrible shotgun. And this is where integration comes in. So the system that we've built integrates to Meta so that only those that, let's say, comment and become leads from your viral posts on LinkedIn are the ones that are going to see what you have. And the thing with this is that they are automatically added to and removed to different lists. So people in the first section of bootcamp gets only that. Then they're moved to this next section, the third and the fourth. So we create this journey of experience of content people see for us to nurture and educate them, warm them up. And the essence here is that we can have that warmth level and that gauge. How much have you done? How little have you done? And we show you the appropriate things based on your warmth level. So if you engage a lot, you see certain types of content, more social proof and more call to actions. But if you haven't engaged a lot, we want to just catch your attention and grab your attention initially. So we don't really need to have a lot of call to actions. We want to build intrigue. So the system is set up in a way that it integrates all different channels so that you can actually make sure that people see it. And the thing here is that you want to aim for an evergreen tag. So you set it and you forget it. This system, you can have every lead see your ads 1 time a day. You use reach ads on Meta, and you have a CPM typically at max $10. And you can run this for $2, $3, $4, or maybe even just $5 a day for your entire company. So for $50 to $150 a month, your entire audience can see you. You can put it on autopilot, warming up your leads, nurturing them, building awareness, making them trust you and believe in your process. So that when they get into that buying window, they're ready. And now I think, Lasse, it's a time for a demo.
Yes.
So I'm going to stop my screen, and then I'm going to move to another screen, and we're going to actually have a demo of a system that we've built to do all of this. So I'm going to present, do a screen share screen, and we're going to do this one. Here we go. So one of the things that we have talked about today has been the lead magnet generation. So one thing that we built is that we built a system where we can add our company, describe our audience, describe what our company do, what we sell, all of the things and the nuances to what we actually do. And we're able to generate lead magnets. So we've added our company. The company has all the details. There's more behind the scenes. And these are just placeholders for this demo and this live training today. But basically, all our details are added in. And then what we have for this company is that we've created a lead magnet. So we can create lead magnets in way less than 5 minutes if we want to be very, very quick. And I think it actually makes sense for us to do that as a very quick demo in this demo. So a lead magnet can be anything. And you can target and tailor a lead magnet to a specific target audience. And we're going to use accounting agencies as an example in this one. So with a lead magnet, it often has the format of a white paper, an ebook, a guide, something of that sort. And it's typically something describing a process in a step-by-step, a methodology, a tactic, a way of doing something, or in some rare cases, it can be a theory about a certain thing. One thing that I want to make as a disclaimer is that some of these features are maybe a bit slow, and that is due to us actually working on migrating to faster servers, so that this takes even shorter time. So if this takes a lot of time now, what I'm going to do is that I'm actually going to go ahead and just use another example that we already have in here.
Yeah, give it a few seconds, and if not, then just... Did you click on anything now, or did it go through?
Nope, it was done generating. So it's just going to fetch the one that was generated and the rest. And again, if it takes a lot of time, then it takes a lot of time. So I'm going to find the one that it...
To just further play on to Harald's disclaimer here, this is our platform that we've been using with our clients, and we're doing a lot of updates to it right now. So things are a little bit all over the place this week right now. But if there are some things which takes longer time or isn't going as smooth as you would want on a demo, then we'll just use examples for what has been generated and give you the disclaimers for it.
So it is generated the lead magnet idea. This is for accounting and software firms. We have a description about the idea. We have the target market defined. We don't have any content. We don't have any LinkedIn posts. And yet we don't have any analytics because this is a feature that's going to come. So for content, what we actually do is, of course, you can write it from scratch. But who don't want to write it from scratch when you can have AI empower you? So we're going to go batshit crazy and say we want AI to generate absolutely everything. And this is going to take typically between 2 and 3 minutes. And it might even be shorter. I've even seen it generate in less than 2, so like in 1.5. But from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to another lead magnet just to showcase the rest of the process. Because what we do have is that we can generate as many lead magnets as we want. Obviously, this one didn't have content. So we're going to go into one which hopefully has, because we have generated a lot of lead magnet ideas the last couple of weeks. But what we actually can do is lead magnet posts. So let's say that we have the lead magnet done because we have another in the database. We want to create lead magnet post for LinkedIn. So this is the viral post that we want to post. Of course, you can create these manually yourself, but then you also have the AI generated one. And it's then going to be able to go in and it's going to create a post which takes all of the things that you've done into account. So here we already have one. And this is then drafted like in no time. And the beautiful thing here is that this is trained on what we've seen work, all of the ones that we viral, but obviously it's a optimization process. But it gives me a lot of inspiration. So, okay, I think that's good. Let me actually create a new one. So I can go on and I can create 5 lead magnets, make them all create content simultaneously. I can create 5 LinkedIn posts for each of them to see, okay, which one works the best. So we can look at this. We have several one. You can add an image to it, and then you can just hit post on LinkedIn. And this is where the next step comes in, because you saw the process of create a lead magnet, post on LinkedIn, connect LeadShark, and that is where we've also taken a step further. So we've created a native integration directly to LeadShark to just like, okay, I don't want to spend any time doing any sort of integration or connection, and I can just copy paste this. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to open LeadShark as well and just show you the process of doing that. So if I go to general on LeadShark and I go down to webhooks, I'm able to simply copy paste this webhook in here. I'm going to call it Growth Garden LeadShark integration. And you can see I've already have it down here. If I then hit add, what it's going to do, and I also have automate post and comment on, is that LeadShark is automatically going to create a automation to extract all of the leads from LinkedIn and your lead magnet posts when you go viral and add them to this platform. And here you can then see, okay, all the activities that has happened, the last 20 ones that are added in. And this is where then you then have leads. So one thing that we've done is that, okay, we don't want to touch anything. We want a fully, let's say, close to 1 click or as few clicks as possible, go-to-market lead generation system. So we then have an automated enrichment process. So whenever a lead comes in, it was automatically enriched. What it also does is that since I posted something on LinkedIn from here, I can then see, okay, which lead magnet did the lead actually come from. So I can search all the different lead magnets that we have. For example, one, I had a demo, which was this one, and we had the lead from that. If I have enrichment statuses, I can say, okay, who are new, who's in enrichment, who's already been enriched, and who has a work email, has a personal email. And we can actually view all of the lead details automatically just in here in terms of, okay, profile. We're going to have their profile details from LinkedIn and their LinkedIn being scraped. And all of these saves us time. And there's a lot of things that we're going to add in on top of this to then automatically connect this directly to, let's say, Get Sales to have follow-up, or to Encharge, which is the email system that we have, where I showed that flowchart for how to connect all of these things together. So one thing there is, for example, the evergreen flow of everything. So we have this one, which is adding score and points to everyone, segmenting them automatically, having the bootcamp sequence and the evergreen sequence. And this is just a placeholder template that everyone in our community gets because it saves time. It's like copy paste. And then you just take your webhook from here, you add that in here, and all the leads automatically go into that. So to like hands off, you create the lead magnet, you create the post, you post it on LinkedIn, you connect LeadShark to automatically fill them in, enrich the leads. You can add them on to Encharge to automatically, let's say, run your targeting bootcamp and everything. And with that, you save so much time that it's kind of like it's set up. So previously, you had to do all of these things manually. Like you had to set up LinkedIn, you had to set up ads, you had to set up your email system. Maybe you had some websites and landing pages. You had to use Zapier to integrate and do all of that. And it took you probably like a week to 5, maybe 8 weeks to set all these things up. I've just now showed you, like, you create lead magnet, you create post, you can hit the post, you copy the link, and then it's done. So it's never been easier to take those who engage with your post on LinkedIn, bring them out, do retargeting, so that you can get people and build positioning for a company. So I think that, let's say, is enough for the initial one. And I'm going to go back to the presentation again. So that was a very, very quick demo of the tools that we use to do all these things, to save time and just make life easier. Because Lasse mentioned it earlier, in terms of, let's say, sending resources and commenting and replying, we have work to do. So we have a business to run, we have clients to serve, we have companies to help, creating resources and more assets for you. And the small things, to just moving things in between, the ad hoc, some of the operationals, we just want to use AI to automate and do things for us. But the next one is actually the offer that we have for you today. And this is something Lasse talked about, and we're just quickly going to go through this before we jump on to ask all the questions that you guys might have. And that is Growth Garden. So Growth Garden is a growth hub for B2B companies and SMEs.
You're not sharing your screen, Harald.
Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. So the fun thing, we're building AI, but the thing of sharing screen is something that we're not able to do. It's starting to get a bit late in there. But Growth Garden is the thing that we want to go through. And Growth Garden is a B2B growth hub for SMEs, so small and medium enterprises and companies, startups, scale-ups, where you get the tools and guidance to, let's say, scale and grow your company smarter. And the essence is that we have three things. We have fundamentals, adaptation, and integration. So we've been into go-to-market and growth engineering for 14 years, so soon to be 15. And we spent more than a decade refining strategies to make what works have a process to them. So one thing is that you never want to chase short-lived strategies, because we provide strategies that we've built over a decade. The next is adaptation. So you can use AI and tools to, without really necessarily overhauling your entire setup. Some of the things that we do are plug and play. So you don't need to change what you do, replace your entire CRM system, just plug it in and it's ready to use. So, because implementation speed is king. When we started this live training, I said that the game has changed. Just the last month, 3, 6, a year. We're not doing what we did a year ago. It's completely changed. And implementation speed is essential for you to keep up, because in a year from now, it's going to be even more crazy and more mayhem than what it is today. And the last one is integration. So one thing that I talked about is that integration is key. So you don't want to waste a lot of time integrating and setting everything up from scratch. Use the things that we have to just speed your process, because again, speed is key, and you want to do something that is not short-lived. So that are the three things that we focus on. The three things that we have that we provide in Growth Garden is the community. So you can connect, share wins, you can access real-time support on Discord, because we have a community that you can send messages in 24/7, and we're going to get back. It's also an amazing community with experts within all different, let's say, phases and stages and, let's say, areas of business, everything from finance to SEO and in operations, in other types of AI and tech, IT. It's an amazing community all around the world. The next is guidance. So we have 3 calls a week where you're able to get actionable advice on Zoom. You just jump on, rapid fire feedback and answers, and going through the things that you need. Even you can share your screen, and we're going to go through and click there and click there. I might even remote control a computer to get something set up. And the final one is the tools. I showed a bit of the platform. I showed a bit about the templates, all of the things that we build, all of the systems that we have, we share with you so that you can implement them. We look over your shoulder so that you implement it correctly. And yeah, the tools, which I already gave you a bit of a, let's say, sneak peek on, and the community as well, and guidance. So we have, as mentioned, 3 weekly calls. Nothing is off the table. If you have a question about philosophy, psychology, a strategy, a tactic, about a technical setup, an integration that doesn't work. Maybe you have an error. Even you want feedback on some copy or a lead magnet, you can go into it. It's the thing is that we want to provide this space where you can actually get help on everything. And if there is something that we don't have currently that you need, we're going to create it. That's the essence and a bit about the promise and growth garden. It's a one-of-a-kind place, and it's truly meant to be the place that you grow your company smarter. Next up from this is the 2 membership tiers that we have. So Growth Garden has 2 prices. It's the regular for $350 a month, and it's a plus for $600. The regular gives all of the basic things. It's the 3 weekly calls, it's Discord, and it's the tools and templates that we have. Plus has everything of that, but it also has a 1-hour one-to-one call with either myself or Lasse every single month. It has Q&A priority, so in every of those weekly calls, you can go first, and you can bring your plus 2. So bring someone else in your team so that they also can join the calls, ask questions in your place, let's say if you're busy, or if you want to also let us, let's say, train and coach them on how to do certain things. So they can offload your time so that you can, let's say, buy back your time. So those are the 2 membership tiers that we have. And one thing that I also want to go into is what type of stories that we've seen people have from inside of Growth Garden. Because there are several things.
Yeah, practically what Harald is trying to say, which I can say quicker, is that this has yielded incredible results for the guys that we've had there. So we'll also take the liberty of showing this to you so that it isn't just us speaking the whole way about our frames to it.
Yeah. So one thing, Lasse mentioned it when he spoke a bit earlier, that one of the new members was concerned how they could get viral or make something work. And the first post went viral, and he had 100 connections on LinkedIn from before. Another one is Ivar. He runs a company called Air. It's a IT tech company. One of his very first posts over a weekend got more than 200,000 impressions. And when I talked to him about it, it had 700 comments. What it ended up being is, I think, close to 1,000 leads from that one post. So an amazing result from Ivar's standpoint. And also it has completely changed how he decided to do his go-to-market and, let's say, client acquisition process. Another one is Felix. Felix was also kind of a crazy story because he joined 143 connections on LinkedIn. His very first lead magnet and post on LinkedIn got several 100,000 impressions, and he got 2,000 leads from the first one. Now he had, the second time I spoke to him, like 2 weeks after that, he had 3,000, and now he has more than close to 5,000 leads generated from that. So amazing. And he didn't have any presence on LinkedIn before. So it tells you that if you treat the algorithm nicely, and you play to the small hacks that we shared, it works. So just an amazing result. James is another one. He's really taken the lead magnet post and these into practice. It's completely transformed his sales process. And he's sending out, I think, weekly, sending out proposals for several 5 figures every single week. So they've closed a lot of clients based off of this. And he's gotten thousands upon thousands of leads so far. And then you also have Robert. Robert is another one that had this, and he went viral within with a different and difficult segment within AI in terms of actual research and document handling. So it's a sub-segment. It's not a super hypey over the top marketing, and he went viral on that type of topic. And also Trevor, he's another one. He started several hundred conversations and got several hundred leads within the first couple of weeks of just posting and doing that system that we talked about, in generating those lead magnets, making them post, connect to LeadShark to automate all of the rest of the things. The same with Marcin is another one. Jason is another one. And there are a couple of other ones as well. So Mohammed, which is the new member in Growth Con that just went viral, is another one. So there's plenty of them. So
yeah, and then we could emphasize that we've been doing it ourselves for 4 months as well. And I'm guessing since you're watching this that you're coming from our LinkedIns. So feel free to look through our LinkedIns as well if you're unsure of whether or how this works or whether it works.
Yeah. And then it's over to you, Lasse, because we have quite a let's say, an additional offer for today.
Yes, as I promised. But if you don't mind, Harold, I know it seems to be your arch nemesis, but Google Slides, if you could open that again.
Oh yeah. My bad. Yet again, I'm starting to get a bit tired. So, but we're
Yes.
gonna be able to make it for you
Yeah.
guys.
I will ensure that Harold stops learning code and starts learning Google Slides until next time that we have a training session like this. But on to, like, I'm not going to roll any drum rolls or anything like that, but we do have an offer which is unique for today. You won't get it tomorrow. And I can say that with confidence. Like previously, we've done price increases and we've stuck to what we've said. You can ask people about it for that sake. But I want to emphasize that the offer that I'm coming with now, it's a matter of just convenience for us. If you're thinking that this might help, that you just take us up on it now instead of like waiting and having talks with us and stuff, just because of the time that we need to put in it from our side. So for that reason, then we've made an incentive for you to take action and to use this if you want to. So if you skip the next slide, Harold, then we'll reveal it, which is that you'll get everything that Harald just mentioned, whether you do regular or plus. But then on top of that, if you pick it up today, if you pick it up now or before the clock turns midnight, then we will set up the first lead magnet completely for you. Meaning that when you then get into Growth Garden, then the first lead magnet that we create to post on LinkedIn and to use for different type of purposes that we have, we will do the first work for you so that you don't have to think of it. We will have one sorted out, and then you will go through the normal hoops of learning the software, learning how to create more so that you can keep going viral and getting more leads and sales from that. But if you get it today, as I said, we'll do the first one completely for you. Then we will also extend the normal 30-minute kickoff call that we have with everyone who signs up to be 60 minutes if you take us up on it today. Meaning that the kickoff call that we do, we basically sit and talk strategy one-on-one to just lay out the groundwork, sort any types of bottlenecks that you have today, and 60 minutes will just help us spend more time on it, or get more things done than normally. And then the last thing that I will mention in terms of big urgency, big thing about signing up now is that from tomorrow on, so from May 3rd, we're increasing the price from today it is 350 for regular and 600 for plus per month. From tomorrow, it will be 400 and 650. And if you don't believe me, just ask people who have been following us for a long time. We used to have, last time we did this type of event, we had the prices at 250 and 500. And we told everyone that we would change when we had 20 people in Growth Garden, which we hit the same weekend. And we boosted it, as we said. And we stick to our words in that sense. We want to incentivize you to actually start now, because this will most likely help you with getting more leads if you're doing B2B sales specifically. So we'll just make as many incentives as we can for you with this. And we're increasing the prices constantly, just so you know, just from the new additions that we're adding to the platform. And when it comes to these price increases, one thing that we've had as a policy since we started is that when you sign up, you get what we call like a grandfather lock-in price, meaning that after you've gotten in, you retain the same price per month, no matter how many price increases we do. Meaning, obviously, if you sign up right now at $600 for the plus plan, you are charged $600 no matter if we go up to 650 tomorrow, as we do, or to 1,000 in 2 months, or to 1,500 in 4 months. It doesn't matter. You stay on the same price as you got in at. So we have people who are at $250 per month in Growth Garden who just signed up with us during our first period. They signed up when we didn't have this platform as extensive as we have it right now. And obviously, like, Growth Garden is worth way more than they paid for at that time. But we're happy to like keep up with the promise that we made there, and we're making the same promise for you right now. Meaning that the different types of systems that we've talked about today, Harold showed you the lead magnet generator that we have, and the post generator and the enrichment and stuff that we've already integrated. The AI sales prep for the calls are coming to the platform. We're bringing analytics to the platform to make it more robust. We're bringing things over time to automate the messaging of all of your leads over time. All of these things will be added, and the product will just become more and more expensive as a result, because there's more things that we're batching together. But if you get it now, you get it at the same rate forever. So moving on to the next slide, just so I can make that statement once more again. Like as I've said previously, we're no Russell Brunson or anything like that who has some insane pitch for you about how we're feeling so generous today to do this. This is simply just because it is more convenient for us to sell it while we're live on the call with 40 of you, as we are right now. Just from a time perspective, me and Harald like building things. Like, we don't really like sitting in sales calls and stuff. I do enjoy at this point to sit with people who've been following us for a long time and who, as I've talked about before, kind of like love me, because it makes the call a little bit more enjoyable. But the reason we do any type of promo like this is just because we want to save time, and then we can afford to spend that time with you in Growth Garden now by creating a lead magnet for you and to have a longer kickoff call with you. And then naturally you get it cheaper if you pick it up today. And then as a final tiny note, you can always buy separately. There's no problem. Like, you can also choose not to buy. Completely fine by us. You can use everything that we have for free as well. This is just a shortcut. If you have the time, if you don't have the time to sit with this for yourself, and you have the resources to look at it realistically, which is the $350 per month or $600 per month to automate this, is practically peanuts, then this is for you. If that is enormous money for you or anything like that, then that's completely fine by us. We'll keep on helping you. We'll keep on sending you stuff. But this is for you who just wants the results faster. That's my final note on there. So I think that leaves us to the final segment here, which is that now you have me and Harald on for at least the next 27 minutes, if you're able to fill it. Where I don't know if the look on Harald's face said that he hoped that we were done before or not, but now I just locked him in to sit with me for another 27 minutes. He's in Europe, so it's later in the day than for me. But we'll answer whatever that you're wondering about regarding this process, regarding B2B growth, regarding AI. Just shoot it at us in the DMs right now, and then we'll take it one by one. And to kick things off, then we have a few questions that I'll just start on replying to immediately. And if you didn't see it, Harald put it in the chat. If you want to sign up for Growth Garden and pick up this offer while it is there today, then there are 2 links to Stripe in the comments here. You just sign up there, and immediately as you've signed up, then we'll put you into the community and get you into the platform and set up a kickoff. But let's move into the questions. So just put all the questions that you have in the chat. We'll start with Charles, who wrote a good 15 minutes ago. What is your lead magnet posting schedule that you recommend? Can you show off the retargeting aspects and the channel you use? And Harald also got it on the screen. Cool. So me and Harald have been debating a bit regarding the posting schedule when it comes to when to post specifically. We thought for a long period that it mattered a lot, and we posted on a specific time, like 10 a.m. Central European, like every time we did a post. I can't really say that we have that much data on whether that works or not, because some of the posts that I have made, which have gone the most viral from my account, has been made at like 8-9 p.m. European time, even one around like midnight. Like, it's just different audiences that see it first, is my impression. So I wouldn't really pay that much attention to that specifically. When it comes to how often, so the frequency, we're now doing, I like to say, 3.5 lead magnet posts per week. So every 2 days, we put out something new. We've done every day before. I still have some feeling when I've tried to do every day that it cannibalizes a bit on each other if you do one every day. But one every 2 days makes it so that you can regularly hit good numbers, and it doesn't eat off the success of the one before or the one after. I'll just answer this whole one, Harald, and then you can move to the next one after. Can you show the retargeting aspect and the channels you use? Actually, Harald, you can show that because that's more of your lane.
I'm not sure if I see the question.
It's still Charles's question.
Ah,
Charles
okay,
has
still Charles.
good like 3 questions or something in the one. That's efficiency.
Yeah.
Charles, like.
Yeah, so that's good. So for the retargeting aspect, so the channels, what we basically do is that we don't really touch anything else, and we create the campaign on Meta. And yeah, let's see if I can bring it up, because that's probably an easier way of showing it than just telling you. Because we talked about the idea of showing, not telling. So then let's practice what we preach. So then I need to present and show another screen. So let's see if I can find it. Here we go. And then I need to put it on stage. Here we go. So the way we've done that is that we have one Meta Facebook campaign. So this is, so the currency is in Norwegian NOK. This is about $10 or $5 a day. This is just set to auction, set to awareness. We have the $5 a day for the advantage campaign budget. And then within this campaign, we have 5 ad sets. So that's each of the 5 stages of bootcamp. And in this, we have maximize reach of ads. We've set the target cap, so 4 times every 4 days, meaning that people can see us every single day. But they can't see us more than once a day, and then just the average cap is 4 times per 4 days. And then what we have is that we have a customer list. So through EndCharge, which is the email automation system that gets all the enriched leads from the system, adds those leads to Bootcamp Step 1 when they enter Step 1, and it removes them from Step 1 when they exit it. And this is then just set to include US and be that age we don't really do anything with, and then we have the ad. So the ad is basically just a long ad linking a lead magnet. So this is actually just a lead magnet that we have for one of the Notion guides that we have. And the ad is fairly long. So it's the same thing as we have on email. The thing here is that it's a bit bugged, I see. So Facebook doesn't allow me to go further down. We don't even have a headline because it brings that from Notion. So it looks real authentic on this one. It's the same with the other ones. So these are all showing on all the platforms. So if I go down, I haven't changed placements whatsoever. So the aspect for retargeting is basically every lead that we extract, we enrich. Those we find an email for, we add to EndCharge, which then automatically adds it to these custom audiences. And that's pretty much the process for it, Charles. And then we can go back. You are muted, Lasse.
Yeah, that's I need to do like a mute course, and Harald needs to do a slides course until next time. So will you do the next question, Harald, from Sanjeev? He asks, will Growth Garden help even in the niche of SMB, like architecture and construction? And the question comes from experiences with other tools that help tech and SaaS companies with relevant filters and signals, but not others like his own, I would assume.
Yeah. So it's a good question, Sanjeev, in terms of would help those particular verticals. The interesting thing with this system is that Ivar, which we showed as one of the examples, they are running a, let's say, AI tech to identify when production apps in IT operations are not working. So it's like a subset in the IT niche, and even viral. And that tells us a lot about whether something like that works for a niche of a niche of a niche. For architecture, yes. But the most important thing really to, let's say, get a gauge of, will the entire idea of lead magnets on LinkedIn specifically work, is whether your target audience are on LinkedIn. So you can use LinkedIn to search to find, okay, how many are within the type of industry, within the locations that you have as target audience, and with the roles and titles that you're trying to attract and reach, how many of those can you find on LinkedIn? You can do that with just the normal search on LinkedIn, but preferably you would like to have the Sales Navigator subscription on your LinkedIn profile to be even able to narrow further. And if you can find them, and let's say they are active on LinkedIn, 100% the process and the approach works. If your target audience necessarily aren't on LinkedIn, but you can't find them, so they are on LinkedIn but they're not active, you have ways to extract them and just skip the entire idea of posting lead magnets and then just go to the retargeting system and ads. You can do that, or you can then go ahead and reach out to them in other ways, like using email or other channels to that. But yes, it typically helps and it works with, I would say, architecture and construction, because it's a holistic way. So the entire idea is that you have what you call top of funnel, mid of funnel, and bottom of funnel. Top of funnel is generating leads and engagement in the first place. The middle of funnel is a nurturing sequence that we talked about, running ads. And conversion is either through email, through the ad, through bookings, or through just sales calls in general. So how we generate leads, that can change, but the other pieces are the same and remain the same. It's just we replace different sources for how to get the leads in the first place. So if it ends up being that LinkedIn lead magnets doesn't really scratch the itch for your audience, it's just we have another way of doing it as well. So hopefully that answered your question, Sanjay.
Great.
So I don't see any other questions actually.
No, I can't see anything else coming in. I still see that we have a good bunch of everyone still on here, just not answering or asking questions here. It's completely fine by us as well. Like, we don't need to spend all of our Friday evening pretending to wait for questions here. Like, I will just emphasize in the end here that if you think that this type of stuff is cool and you want to imitate and do something similar using the platform that we shared for you and stuff, then Growth Garden will be like just useful for you. And the thing which I didn't mention earlier as well is that it is a month-by-month subscription, meaning that you don't sign up and need to sign up for like 6 months or 12 months or even 3 months or anything like that. You simply sign up for a 1 month thing, and then it just rebuilds as long as you stay on. Meaning that we charge it like that because we firmly believe in people to be in our group because they're getting value from it, not because not because they have some long contract that they need to uphold. So if you sign up today and take us up on the offer that we have, then you're only signing up for the first month, and even then, after a month, if you want to stay on, then you keep the same price even when we do the increase, and we'll just ensure that you get the same results as we've shown you here from the other guys that we have in Growth Garden. Like, there's not really anything else to say than that. Like, I get a little bit frustrated when I know that something will help someone and I'm supposed to sit there and make like this master pitch. It's just like, just try, like, just do it.
Yeah.
That's a note.
ahead,
Someone asked how they can get the slides. We can share
Yes.
the slides now since we've gone through everything.
Yeah. So I'm going to share the link to the slides now in the comments, so that you guys can just take that and open it. So now the link, it has been shared. And let me actually do it this way, because then it seems like we got an image. Oh, nope. issued twice. So then anyone or no one can really say that they didn't get it. So there we go. Thanks for giving the presentation. We're happy to be able to share this with you. Hopefully that you guys got some value from it. And with the slides, of course, you get the prompts that Lasse talked about earlier, so that you can copy paste and do this process yourself. So yeah. Anything else from then? Also, I think that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. At least I enjoyed it, even though that I had an issue sharing my screen. But hopefully it was useful, and you bring something from this.
We got a question now in the end. Where can we sign up? Add it to the about section. What's the hyperlink for Growth Garden? I can't find it on Google. That's a good point. There is no Google. Okay, now we got a couple of questions actually, Harald, in the end here.
Yeah, we got a couple of questions.
We got 3 questions actually. So that was in good time, I have to say, you guys.
Yeah.
We were about to wrap this up. But then let's get into
get the links. Yeah. So Charles, so for the links, I'm gonna bring the links now in the chat. I'm just gonna do plus and regular, and it's a direct link to the checkout page. They are now posted in the comments, so hopefully you can see them there. You just mark them and copy. What I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna add them to the final slide. So I'm gonna add a new slide in the presentation, and I'm gonna add the link to sign up there. It's gonna look horrible, but it's in there as well.
In the meantime, while that is being put up, next question that we got is from Mike. Mike, I first of all have to say that your company name is really cool, Sabertooth Tech Group. Like, that is something that I'll remember, which isn't necessarily normal for companies when people are on LinkedIn. But he asks you actually, Harald, not me. So you get to answer as well.
Yeah, Harald, have a lot of solo entrepreneurs had successful growth. Yes. So there are several of those that has, let's say, just starting up, they're just themselves, that has seen results. Felix was one. Robert is basically one. Ivar has a couple of team members, but they're really not huge in terms of revenue. I know that Marcin has a bit of a team. Frank is one that has seen results. So yes, the fact that you're a solopreneur is not the reason why you're not succeeding in Growth Garden. The reason why you're not succeeding in Growth Garden is, to be frank, you're not doing any work. So you're not doing anything. If you're doing something, and what we've seen with everyone that actually does this, takes it up, they create lead magnets, they post it, they follow the blueprint, they use the systems, it works. I don't think we have anyone that has stuck to it and has not gone viral and generated at least, let's say, 500 leads. So being a solopreneur or a solo entrepreneur is not the reason why you're not going to succeed. It's more that you're not doing the work. And the things that we have will save you time, so that you buy back time and you get more results. So hopefully I'll answer your question, Mike.
Yes, I'll just emphasize that again, that solo entrepreneurs are typically the easiest one to do it with, because you're delivering a service which is you. So it's even easier to extract what methodologies that you are teaching, that you are servicing, and selling you is way easier when already your content is about you, not necessarily your business. It is very much possible with a business too, but it is you that you're building essentially.
Yeah. Just one very quick question. Uni, I saw that you can't seem to be able to copy the links.
I sent the links to her answering the chat.
Okay.
So Uni, just let me know if you can't open those links either.
Yeah, I've also just for note, I've added the the link to the sign up in the second and the last slide in the presentation. But I'm also sending it to you on DM, and I'm also sending it to you, Charles.
But Uni had a question, Harald, that you put on the screen.
Yes. So Growth Garden is a community getting us the leads through automation and teaches us how to warm up our leads and then teach us how we can do our closing better. I want to get more details on this. I think that's a fairly spot on type of description on it. So you could say that Growth Garden you have the community part, which is you have weekly calls with myself and Lasse. So Lasse has one, I have two, where you can ask questions about anything. That could be lead generation, it could be offer building, it could be positioning, it could be technical, it could be AI, how to build software with AI even. And we have Discord where you can send questions. And then you have the tech and the tools that I showed you. So the template for the entire backend nurturing. It is the platform where you can generate lead magnets and post them and track your leads and enrich them. So yes, the goal that we have with Growth Garden is that it's going to be the one place you do and go to for your entire go-to-market. It's the way you generate leads and the systems for that. It's the systems to enrich and qualify also your leads, because you're going to get leads and you want to qualify to see how qualified they are and not, how to nurture them, the content creation for lead generation, the content creation for lead nurturing, and setting everything up and guidance for it. So yes, it's pretty much we're going to work on covering all, and we have a lot of things planned in the pipeline and the roadmap for the tools and the tech that we're building. For example, the meeting prepper, the analyzer of leads, all of these different things are going to be added. We're going to add in an AI that can automatically actually converse with your leads based and has access to all of the lead magnets that you're creating, so that they can send more lead magnets to them through the discussions and dialogue. This is also a bit about the reason why we're raising prices, is that we're adding in functionality, and all of the functionality that we have are unlimited use. So if you guys wanted to, let's say, join 1 month of Growth Garden, create 50 lead magnets and let's say 5 posts for each of them, so that you have 250 posts to post on LinkedIn over the next 2 years, you can do that. So we don't want to limit it, because we know that if you want to really master the art using the systems that we have, we shouldn't really cap you. So hopefully you need that answered your question. Do you have anything else to add to this?
No, not really. I'll just say, just try. As I said earlier, it's hard to sit there and go on some insane pitch rant. It's just try. You can see in the document that I sent in the chat now as well, the Notion doc. You can see in the bottom all of the breakthrough of the results that we've had with others setting up the same type of process now this year. We're just doing it on rinse and repeat. Like the last time that we made someone viral was this morning, literally. We do it all the time. So it's just I won't pitch anything harder than that. Just try. It's a month-by-month thing. It's not a big deal. Cooter also asked, will you be sharing the recording of the session? I definitely want to show it to our CEO. First of all, your CEO will have an amazing time watching me and Harald talk and have fun. When it comes to your question, yes, if you go into this LinkedIn event link that you're on right now, then the recording will be there when we have stopped it. Then it will just run as a 2-hour thing that you can start or skim back and forth in. I don't know, like a YouTube video. I think it will also be on YouTube. You mentioned, Harald.
It is being streamed and saved on YouTube as well. So it will be available there. But basically, if you were to refresh this page or go to the event in, let's say, half an hour after we wrap up, I think the replay is going to be available, so you can just click it and jump around in it.
Yeah, I was going to say, no one is watching on YouTube. That's sad.
Yeah.
We haven't promoted it there. So, cool. Then
now I can't see any other questions.
Now, Uni says that she got a better idea of Growth Garden now. That is great to hear. Then we've hopefully done a decent job at explaining things, and we got a thanks, guys. that seems like a very wholesome ending to things, since we don't have any open threads. Or there we got another question from Unit. Do you have any guarantees, like how many leads we would be getting, etc., or any other guarantees? No, we don't operate based on guarantees, because it is a done with you type of thing, where, as Harald mentioned, that you need to put in the work still. So like, we're not a big fan of the whole like Hermosi pitch on like, you get XYZ, if not then you get all of your money back and we pay you and we walk your dog for a year or whatever. Like, it's just, we have these systems, they work, you just need to do them. Like, it's a month by month commitment, so like, we don't lock anyone up to anything. It's just a try practically, but we don't operate with any like money back guarantees or anything like that. No.
Good. Any final questions from the guys that are here before we wrap it up? Because we still have a couple people
checked,
lurking around.
Yeah, I know, and I checked that we are still like 15-20 seconds behind, so every time we might be saying something.
Uni actually pulled up. What can I expect? So one thing, Uni, that I actually want to add in is, this was the case with Trevor, James, Ivar, Felix, and I think one other. And that is, they weren't ready for going viral. So they didn't have lead shark set up. And all of them, I'm not kidding you, said this has become a full-time job just replying to everyone. And that's when I said, and that's why you get lead shark set up before this, so that you're ready for it when it actually comes. But that's one thing that I can say, and I'm not saying that to, let's say, come off as arrogant or stuff like that. It's more, that was the case that they actually said in the weekly calls. But aside from that, what you can expect is that you will have a system that actually runs for you. And maybe you don't go viral on the first post. Maybe you don't even go on the second, third, or even fourth. But if you keep on doing it and you do 10 LinkedIn posts, you're bound to have something that really works. And that is also about the cadence. Like Lasse said, we've tried post every single day. It's not necessarily the best. Every other day is really good, because then we can build momentum and then we can empower the next post further. And if you teach your audience to like what you post, they're going to ask more of it.
Okay, so just to answer Uni further here, then I looked at your LinkedIn profile now, Uni, just to answer a bit more like in relation to what you're doing specifically. I saw that you now wrote that you're new into B2B lead gen, wondering how it could help. One thing is getting things to go viral, another thing is to warming them, then closing them. If we have training sessions and closing as well. So the thing that we do, is that we have software in place to have the posts go viral, as we mentioned, and to deliver them. And then we do coaching on how you actually sit and talk with these people, as we've mentioned as well. And then if you call it like, we have training sessions in that sense, where all of the weekly calls that we're doing are about how to sell people on your B2B services from A to Z. Meaning that when you don't have anything which has gone viral of lead magnets, then there's no point in looking at your closing necessarily. But the second that you have that and you sit in a lot of calls, then simply put, just come onto the calls with me or Harald and then just ask about how do I best prep, how do I go into things. And as I mentioned, we use AI for most things. So a lot of the work that you would typically do on like how to make a sales script, how to get good at that, how to find the right questions and stuff, we'll show you how to use AI in lifetime to actually sell people. Like, it is, I won't get into that rabbit hole again, since I probably spent like 15 minutes earlier in this session talking about GPT-0 for a minute, but it is like the love of my life at the same level as my girlfriend at this point. And like, it will completely change how you sell things B2B. And I will show you exactly how to set it up and how you can use it and then how to sell with it. So I think the short answer, is that yes, you will get help and you will get training when it comes to everything up until the sales. The delivery itself is more so depending on what you're delivering, whether we can help there. Like typically, we have a lot of companies who do all sorts of stuff. I see that you do B2B lead gen and B2B growth, so fairly similar things to what we do. So we'll probably be able to help you on that side as well, because we're open for brainstorming. We're open for just looking at your systems, your processes. Like some things we have software for that can just be implemented. A lot of the reason why we do Growth Garden specifically is because we like the mental stimulation of just having a lot of people who are ambitious and who are creative, who challenge us on different things, who come with ideas that we can help with, so that we can basically create more ideas for ourselves as well. So given your case specifically, Yone, and the post that I've seen that you've made, I don't speak that good Chinese or read it, but I'm using the translation tools here. Then the types of stuff that you're delivering, like it could easily be formatted in these ways into posts, as we talked about with lead magnets. And then we work together on how to deliver these resources to people and how to sell them. So it's you have kind of a textbook profile to do this with, to give you the bottom line. So again, I would just advise on going for it and trying, and then you have the incentive to do it today as well.
I think we've reached the end, unless there's let's say, someone coming in at the final finish line. Hopefully this answered all your questions and gave you some, let's say, points to this all you need.
Let's see.
Yeah.
How many are we now? 2 hours in? I can't see it.
Yeah, we're 8. So there's 8 people
okay.
sticking around.
Okay, fair enough. Then for all of you beautiful 8 people who have thought it interesting to sit and listen to me and Harald for this long on a Friday evening, then I hope all of you have an amazing weekend, and the karma will come back to you for spending time with us. So just let us know in DMs like what sorts of miracles that happened as a result of it, and then we'll ping you for the next event that we do, so that you can learn even more.
The final answer to your question, Uni, yes, it is basically then in 4 hours from now. So that's the deadline for the price before the increase. Because I'm located in Norway and it's the Norwegian time that it is, and we're in the same time zone. So yes, it's 4 hours from now basically. So we're giving it as kind of like the final thing for today. But if you have any other questions about this, you can just send either Lasse or myself a DM, and we will get back to you. But again, as also said,
I would say absolutely worst case, like if you're sitting in European time and Swedish time, then naturally I would get it before going to bed for the night. But if you want a 5-hour delay until my time in Brazil, then you can have those 5 hours. But I don't think you'll be sitting until 5 a.m. in the morning, like pondering about it. So it's just to get it and to try, and then we'll work at it.
Yeah. But with that, we're going to call this a night or an end, not a night for everyone. And we hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found value in it. And we are probably going to do more of these. So just keep a look on Lasse and my profile, because we might post another event like this, but we're most definitely going to post more lead lines and give you guys more value. But with that, thank you for sticking around. I wish you a great rest of your day.
Ciao, ciao.